And I've only enabled the detection for that for Ethernet, and then I have some another rule which you can run beacons for my that.
So all you gotta do is, well, there is a thing that you can specify beacon.
There might be able to.
I mean, because a beacon flat up, it's got certain information.
Okay, we should be coming live here soon.
Woo! Yay! That's it right now.
Yeah, it's going up now.
Oh shit, it's on. Thanks for the note.
How dare you?
720, baby.
What's that?
Yeah, okay. Screw the 30.
What the heck? That's his fault.
Okay.
Is that how you're gonna be doing it? Full screen?
How small is it?
How many viewers do you got?
It says one right now. It should be updating now.
You're so popular.
Oh my gosh, the lagging.
Well, it has to go out to Google's encoding servers.
How's the audio though?
Yeah, it's a forward back.
I can hear us.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how's it?
You're just talking right now. It's like you're so popular. I heard that.
So how's it sound right now then when it comes in?
All hearing is talking about
You said the audio on mute. You're fine.
Okay. All right.
Is this how you're doing it then?
I don't know how to get that any bigger because I need a particular screen, and when I go try to do full screen,
Do you have like extended screen? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
You probably Matt would just want to have it on one screen.
what I'm saying though, like what?
Unless you're
So-
trying to show both or something.
Because I only have an entire
Oh,
screen.
you can pick the.
What
Yeah.
you probably have to do is pseudo.
I mean, like for that, since you want to show the presentation, do you want to show only that right now, right?
Well, yeah, it's gonna. But the thing is, like at home and everything, it'll divide up the screens. But I guess with like Ubuntu, it's gonna just do entire screen as like it's just representing as one screen entirely.
But is that how you're trying to do it, or?
Try to.
Because that's how it looks right now. Like,
Yeah.
like that. I saw
It's gonna end up.
screen setting. Takes specific. Okay.
I have purchased. That's, I mean, yeah, that's what you use over Photoshop.
Right.
You need to edit. You need to make it. You
Just need to adjust levels on it.
you just need to change the level. Make it
Well,
Maybe get out of the group. Try it.
Okay. So I have to keep it on the screen. Yeah. Okay, wired. Okay, we're back. Yeah.
Sucks. Should have done that. What? No, it should have been back on wrong.
It is, but that doesn't mean redirect sign up.
I'd have to do that too on top of that. The only other weird thing with this is I have to actually turn off the.
Are we?
Pseudo bang bang, goddammit.
Damn it, man. Sometimes for some things.
For some things.
Alright.
Are you ready to roll?
Full screen of this. Check.
Huh?
As soon as you put that in,
Interesting. So if I exit this, we get it back.
Do you have them on different desktops?
They should.
Not sure if that.
Did I save this good?
How about now? What do you should see my face at least?
Time now.
Huh?
No, I did it at rules. What's the other window besides
You said
It's
rules
Larry
as
itself.
Auto.
So you're still getting audio, but that's not coming
Yeah,
through?
I'm hearing you.
Okay. What the hell?
Oh, now I see the camera.
Oh, it's just that huge of a delay.
Didn't load them, so.
Yeah, empty.rules. So it's either loading empty by default. So is there an IP table? Is there an IP table stuck? So you can up directory up configuration file IP
Let me go down here. Broadcast is going. We have
It is enabled. It's just
your viewers.
when they switched over to system D. Very good.
So system B, everything is.
All right, so I have controls too.
System CTO,
So it might be
network CTO,
your screen sharing, present to everyone.
Or not CTO.
Okay.
It was funny because the other guy, Justin, that it's not like you or whatever, was obviously previous. The guy be like, oh yeah, I use this. It's like, that's old as shit. It's like, I'm like, it's.
I like old units. I'm not going to be, it's old as shit.
Probably have to do a lot of trimming if we're gonna post this.
There we go. That's not it.
Just reload it.
It's fine. Fine, that's better. Start.
All right. There we go.
Yeah, gotta do that. You do this, I don't.
Okay, so I'm Ken Welch, and I'm presenting on a pentesterlab course called SQL Injection to Shell. And the entire purpose of this course is to show people how to exploit a SQL injection to gain credit information and then get a web shell out of it. If you would like to do it yourself, here's the website. And it's been very helpful going forward. But what it is it's each exercise has the course itself, which has all the reading and everything to follow along, and then also an ISO file, which is you can throw into VMware Player or VM Workstation and just use it from there. It sets itself up. It's pretty nice, and it'll use DHCP to get its own IP address. So if wherever you put it, like on your as a bridge or as a host only, it will it'll just find an IP address. as long as you have DHCP enabled in the VMnet. So the things I want to cover is Recon and loud Recon, and I'll show you why it's so loud. Vulnerability identification, just a basic testing by manually. Information grabbing, so how you're going to get that information out and what you're going to do with it in order to use it to log in and eventually set up a web shell. Shut up. Yeah, so first thing, Recon. There's two ways of going about it to gain information. There's a very older way called Telnet, using Telnet, and you can send a web request to the server. And then also WFuzz, which actually sends out thousands of requests in a second. So this is the web server that gets thrown up when you start up the ISO. And as you can see, it's just a very, very basic one. There's not too much to it. Here you can see like an admin link reference. But so we'll do something like this. That's probably not big enough. So telnet want to do 168, well, whatever yours is going to be. 133. And should be. Basic channel request, but we should have the header information up here. What this tells us is the version of Apache we're dealing with, and also that we also see some PHP, which is going to help us later on. And that's only maybe around 15 packets you'll see over like something like Wireshark. Nothing that would show up to any kind of alerts. But with WFuzz,
Oh wait, I have to watch the screen to watch what's going on.
I'm just keeping that.
well, WFuzz, as you see on there, the options. So what WFuzz does is sends out a lot of requests, and you can use a word list to it'll send a GET request. So like where you saw the root right before the HTTP/1.1, that would be like the IP address and then root itself of the web server, and then where the word list would be. So then the HC 404 option is to tell it to ignore 404 errors on the request. And I'm just using one of WFuzz's basic ones, basic word list. And as you notice, this would probably not show up on the actual web server, but the fuzz section, that tells WFuzz itself where to generate the word list for the GET request. And you see as it goes through, it's sending out about 3,036 requests. And what are you? No! Demo gods hate us.
So this is, what's the other program you use?
Yeah. That's it.
Yes, this is actually like WebSlayer. Just the terminal version.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, it's just based on the same thing. It's a script. What it does, it gets the word list and then does a bunch of socket connections to 80, and then trying to find ones that match. So things that it responds back with. If it comes as the 404, it just ignores it. And see, these are the ones that came back successfully. But yeah, but for this example, that's not we're going to look at CGI at all. But it also knows when fuzz is connected to something else. So like when I put in the .php, it will then just look for PHP-based web pages. So out of these, this will be the total of ones that showed up. These are the ones that actually are .php. Then we could verify that with coming to here and let's say like test cat. I don't know if you guys can see that cat.php. Everything. It's just a matter of finding all of these. Now, one thing I want to note is how many requests it took, and that's about 3,036. So from a defensive standpoint, if you have anything that would log these kind of amount of requests in such a short period of time from a single destination, it's going to show up.
Most of these fuzzers do.
Yeah.
They're all loud.
I'm just saying in general, yeah. Okay, so we have the names of the ones we want. Next section, I'm just trying to set up. Now we know which ones we're looking. We know we were looking for a PHP script, and we know we're looking for a way in. So we can test this by just doing basic arithmetic. to cut this a little bit short, cat is the one we are looking for, and we can test that by using the ID parameter that PHP is looking for, and just play around with it a little bit. So 2 will send back this, 1 will send back the other thing, but if you do 2 minus 1, the fact that it allows that shows that it's not really doing any kind of sanitation. That would get rid of that. So we know what we're looking for at this point. And so it's pulling these images and it's putting them in a little bit of like columns to show you the information. And how it's doing that is pulling from a query, a SQL query. So what we can do is, and we're gonna reset this so we have an empty one, is see how it's doing this with a union select.
Did you try any other attacks besides the SQL injection?
Well, I'm just going along the lines of what the course did.
I'm just wondering if you tried an RFI in there.
Not yet. No.
I'm wondering if it works. I'll have to try later.
Okay.
Because that seems to be just taking whatever you put in.
Yeah, it really doesn't do much. So we put in union select, and what union does is it takes the one query and then combines it with another query. And so I'll put in union select 1, which is then is looking for to place information in a column, and we get this error. The use select statements have a different number of columns. So we know union select works. We just got to get the right amount of columns in here. Same thing. Same thing. And now we actually have something come back out. And we can see here, it's trying to reference 2 and then 2 down here, which means it's going to be the second column that shows up, and that's what we're going to be using for a SQL injection to get the information back out. But the information we're looking for, we wouldn't know what table it's in. Right now, this is a table that knows where all the pictures are. It doesn't know exactly where logins and passwords are. So one thing we can leverage against this is SQL databases take advantage of outlines or schemas. And we can look at that by modifying this to do a query on the actual table names of the schema. Using concat, because what this will do, it'll put the table name plus the column name together as a single string output. And we have to tell it we want it from information schema. Information schema dot columns. Ooh. Column name, where did I mess up? Connect. And here we just drop the entire schema for all the columns. And since we're looking for particular information, this is actually kind of a lot. Let's do a control find and just like maybe users. And down at the very bottom, we actually have users, their ID, login, and password. So then this section, since we also have the table name, which is users, and the columns, login, and password, we can modify this to do login and password, and then change the table it's trying to query from to users. Where did I mess up at? From users. And it kicks out the admin password, but it's hashed. Now for this course, they specifically say it's going to be raw MD5. And one thing I've learned when like using it, like this is something like John the Ripper, aptitude, you can, like I'm using Ubuntu. So with aptitude, you can get a version of John. That version of John is not the greatest, and it doesn't have what we need for this.
OS 10 is kind of the same way.
Yeah. So going to, I think, OpenWall is the proper website.
Yeah, that's who makes it.
Yeah, going to OpenWall and grabbing one of the community versions. 1.7.9 has a proper makefile, and it doesn't take that much to get it up and running.
You just have to edit the. Do you have to edit the configuration before you make it?
A little bit. You have to. So you have to do a make to see like what the options are, and then you pick your particular one. I use the CUDA, the x86 CUDA.
Did you have to install additional drivers for your NVIDIA card?
Yeah.
Did you have to install the?
Well, not for exactly for the video card, but it's more along the lines of like make would come back. So I say like.
So on OS 10, like I have to do developer drivers.
Yeah.
If I want to use it, which I don't. So I don't enable the CUDA cores.
No, I had to throw errors at me. So what I had to do was, well, I found. I wish I had that website. Troubleshooting of someone going like, oh, okay, I don't know where this error is coming from because I don't know how to get that package. So for at least for Ubuntu for Aptitude, you can do a thing called apt file or app search, app find, apt tag find, and you would put in. So you put in the header you're looking for, or this is the include.
Either way.
And it would go, okay, we found it in this one because it actually references the database of all of this. So once you install that, I didn't have any problems doing the make and having it compile.
So you use GPU for yours?
Yeah. I mean, home would be much stronger, but for this, I'm not exactly using the brute forcer because the password file, it just goes much quicker. And that's another thing.
I've done both, but like I've had John not completely give me the password.
Yeah, and that's one thing I was looking at, and I was trying to create an errors and find errors on how to manipulate this. But one thing I noticed is like using a password file, it can mangle it, but there's issues.
Yeah, I've had it not throw like I've actually written the password in and used John, and it won't get it. And I was like, because I had to use one for the OSCP,
right?
And it just wouldn't work.
We're live. Okay, so we have the password and everything. Take this, and I have Sublime. And I have a couple of these things ready to go. So I save it in here. So then we are going to run. Hopefully I cleaned out the pot. Because one of the things is like, John, yeah, it won't show it again afterwards. So John, it goes raw. Listen, okay. I can see it's pretty big word list, and it did work for this, so that's why I ended up using it. Oh yeah, delete that. And it kicks out the password. Like I didn't stop working with John until I got it to actually kick that out. In the course, it shows you where the password is, but I wanted to make sure this can be done without that, so you don't have to skip this. Pampers. Okay, so we have a password and admin, and so now we can actually log into the site as admin. And we can see like we can delete images or we can add a new one, which is nice for file uploads. So our next step is to try and get a web shell going. And since we're running PHP on the server, we can use a PHP web shell, which looks like, no. Here's a way. Which is basically just this. What that's going to do is going to, when you go to try to reference this as a web page, it'll pull this up and then look for a parameter for a command, which then gets sent to the system as a system command. So you'll be able to do things just like letting, like ls and you name whatever the user itself can use, which would be probably www data.
Mm-hmm. And this can be anything. It doesn't have to be CMD.
Yeah, it's just keeping it simple.
Well, the first time I looked at it, I thought it was like command, and then I found out that that can be whatever you want it to be. And that's just what you use as CMD, then equals whatever.
Yeah. So go to the new picture. Title thingy. And we use this one and try to add it. No PHP. Okay. So we have no PHP. Or do we? I don't know. This went better in my head.
No, you just got to explain why it did it.
Okay, so this web servers like this, if what they do is when they're looking for file extensions that they don't want, the baseline version is to just check the end file extension. But Apache in this version doesn't like that. Untangle that. What happens is Apache sees the file extension and goes, okay, that's PHP. No, that's not, we're not uploading that. But when this is going to seem weird, if you add a bogus file extension on the end of it and then send it in, it'll get past the input sanitization.
Is that how they explain
Check.
it to you in the thing? Or
No, this is me just being weird.
Okay, well,
It explains it in it, you're right? But like my explanation is a matter of what happens is it'll see the bogus one and go, okay, that's not like PHP, so that's good to go. But Apache, when trying to throw it out, will be like, I don't know what that is. So I'll just go to the next line, see if there's another file extension there, and it'll take the PHP one. So as you see, example.php.block. More thingies. And add. So now we have it in here. We just got to get to it. And this part of the course, I didn't like. They just pointed out to the uploads. For someone that doesn't know it's there, though, I wanted to show how to get to it, right? Because it just says, oh, it's here. But how would you know where it's at? Because my first impression would be to click thingy. And it'll just take you to a page on the outside, and that doesn't help anyone. Because it just then queries it as an ID. Oh, no, resend. So from here, we can use something like Burp Suite. And we can tell it to spider this branch. This would be nice. What we're looking for already showed up as uploads, but you can do that's warped to actually have it spider within with user credentials. So we know where that's at now. And here's actually our example 1.php.block. You're going. And here it is, a little error because it's didn't send it anything. Command E less, and as you see, we're actually doing the file listing. And get the user, or this is a system. Where am I? And that's our web shell. So as far as this is concerned, as far as the course, that would be about the end.
So from last week, we could have uploaded
Yep.
one of the reverse shells.
What's nice is like, and I'm still broadcasting to show this, is, and I think they put it in there just as a little treat because I started playing around. So like which NC, and we actually have an NC netcat in here. Here, obey me.
Obey me.
There.
Oh, you have a profile? You can that cat.
Yeah, because I don't want to keep that up all the time. No, just open 444. And hold on.
Do
I'm gonna do it on this side. And because I'm in a VMnet, I show up as a router. It's
you do have to use Techie, and I don't know what you're doing with Techie.
it's like a connect thing. I didn't do. Okay, so. No, that's
Do netcat and tech NLP.
Hmm?
Go back.
oh wait, yeah, I don't know. Hold on. Didn't specify a port. NCV. Right. Let me try something. Yeah, it's not coming on me.
Control C.
No. I know, right? Just like it's still to hide. Have it up. My notes. Notes. Okay.
In light.
Sometimes I had to put quotes around them too. Did you get the netcat to work before?
Yeah. I just had to pull the command back up. And this one, I think it's the connection, this taxi option that we had.
I know.
Okay, and here it is.
Why is it using
Arr.
taxi?
that's about it. Thank you for your time.
What did you ask?
What?